Hello and welcome. You are watching Business Today TV. This is Market Today. I'm Sakshi Batra and with me is Shail Bhatnagar, and here's wishing a very happy Raksha Bandhan to all our viewers. So it's Rakhi and it is also the penultimate day of the August FNO series, and all hopes really rest on the festive spirit to lift the Nifty and help it end the series on a positive note. We'll discuss what lies ahead for you to track today, but first the top headlines this hour. Indian indices are likely to strengthen further as strong cues from Wall Street and short covering on main heavyweights adds to domestic sentiment at a time when foreign institutions remain net sellers. Cash markets are abuzz with intense buying activity as traders now focus on the beaten down chemical sector where raw material prices are at a multi-year low while volumes and top line pick up pace. Good morning, Shail, and good morning to all our viewers. Well, Shail, just like how I was pointing out, the Nifty is really stuck in a 200 point range, neither breaking above 19,400 nor slipping below 19,200. Who will come to the rescue? Will it be the festive cheer today?
Good morning, Sakshi. Welcome to all of those who are watching us from their homes and offices. And wonderful Wednesday morning. Our good wishes to all of you for Raksha Bandhan. Let's hope this festive spirit lifts up stocks broader across the trading place as also the Nifty and the Bank Nifty. Sakshi, frankly, August has been a bit of a write-off. We are on T-1, just as you mentioned, the penultimate day of August's very, very long expiry. We've seen the Nifty shed about 2.5% this month, and that translates to somewhere like 650 points from the peak of 20,000 that we saw in the last week of July to where we are now, 19,342. What's really good and changed for the better over the last 1 week is that we are making higher highs and higher lows over the last 2 or 3 trading sessions, but the Nifty remains in a tight range bound trade. Yesterday's rally on Wall Street, which I'm sure you'll describe in great detail a little further, adds to the sentiment locally. And the good part is that a lot of moving averages which were earlier acting as resistances are now helping the Nifty in the form of a support. The problem is that apart from 1 or 2 frontline counters like Infosys and Axis Bank, none of the other major index heavyweights such as HDFC Bank, ICICI Bank, Reliance, State Bank of India are showing any traction on the long side. Let's presume they are consolidating at current levels. But at T-1, I am very hopeful that you will see some amount of short covering happening in today. And that should perk up at least the Nifty and the Bank Nifty. If you look at the option chain, it's moved a little bit higher. We've seen very, very strong support for 19,250 for the Nifty, both on technical charts as well as the option chain. So that should act as a support. And of course, 19,400, 19,500 are major resistances. So as you pointed out, a narrow trading range. But, it's like this, Sakshi. We may be lying on the ground, but our faces are pointed skywards. So instead of watching the mud, we are watching the sky. And one of these days, this rally, which you can see in the incipient form on the Nifty daily chart, it's seeking a lot of support at Nifty 500, the 50-day exponential moving average. That is providing support. And of course, as we had mentioned earlier and in your headlines you mentioned, the cash market is very vibrant. So traders and investors are concentrating on cash stocks till the time Nifty and the Bank Nifty sort out their pain points. That's how the Nifty is: choppy, volatile, range bound, Yesterday's range was just 70 points, a high of 366 and a low of 290, 297. So that's where the support is, 19250, 19200. So if you see an intraday downtick, buy it at the support level and then maybe play for a 30-40 point bounce. Sakshi, truly the Nifty and the Bank Nifty are scowling, and let it be. Let's see how it pans out today and tomorrow, T-1 and T as far as the August expiry is concerned. Sakshi.
Absolutely, Shail, and we will watch out for the cash stocks, and we will continue to track all of those because they are the more vibrant ones. But as far as the Nifty Bank is concerned, we have to address all those traders who continue to track this index very, very closely. It did close flat yesterday, declining nearly 200 points from the day's high, despite supporting the index for the large part of the trading session yesterday. Any respite from the banking heavyweights in today's trading action that could lift the Nifty Bank?
Sakshi, it's a relative scale. I can say that Nifty Bank's charts are stronger than Nifty's, and you can make out in the daily chart there is in front of you. The 20 and the 50 EMA are now, because they have fallen so much, they've come below the price point and are now providing support for the Bank Nifty. That's a big plus. The only negative point that I saw in yesterday's trade was that the Bank Nifty closed at its day's low, which was 44,500, and the fact that the trading range, that is the difference between the high and low, which traders exploit during intraday, is now reduced to 250. So again, the same point, a narrow trading band. It's consolidating and consolidating higher. Over the last 3 days, you've seen successive highs and lower lows. So that's a very big plus. You have higher highs and higher lows. So it's moving in an upward channel on the daily basis, but a bit of a resistance there. And if you see the trading range for the Nifty as far as options are concerned, for the 7th September series, weekly series, it's 44,000 to 45,000. Very, very strong support coming in at 44,000, and we've seen resistance at 45,000 on at least the options chain. Here what the traders are doing is they are bearish on large cap banks like State Bank of India, HDFC Bank, to some extent even ICICI and Kotak, but they are gung-ho on cash banks, which is those small public sector banks that are not in the F&O space. So you don't expect intraday trading to bump down the uptick that we are seeing. So Central Bank of India, JK Bank, Union Bank of India, and of course our all-time favorite Bank of Maharashtra, they are showing very, very strong traction on the long side, and that's where the action for traders and investors is, Sakshi, as far as Bank Nifty is concerned. So choppy trade, volatile trade, shallow trade on both Nifty and Bank Nifty. Stay away from them if you're not a professional trader. In any case, we are on T-1, so options premiums will squeeze further and faster. So it's best left to professionals and just stick to cash counters in the chemicals and the fertilizer space. Sakshi.
Okay, stick to cash counters, chemicals, fertilizers. We'll discuss all of it in great detail again today. Of course, all of these stocks were firing away yesterday. From the F&O basket, Shail, what are you watching out for today?
Sakshi, it's been a very, very sharp rally in the chemical space. If you remember, we had highlighted Tata Chemicals yesterday. Yes. Before markets opened, and once Tata Chemicals started to fire, then the entire chemical space started to buzz with a lot of gains. You remember we had the chairman managing director of Rosari Biotech yesterday. It's a chemical play. And he mentioned the fact that raw material prices have slipped to multi-year lows at a time when sales and volume are picking up. That basically means margin expansion. And you'll see a lot of very, very smart traders getting back into beaten down stocks such as Deepak Nitrite. Look at Deepak Nitrite today, 2175. It closed 6.5% higher. And this is not a small ticket size, 2175 in futures. and look at the open interest, it's 23% higher. So this is what is now getting into momentum, the entire chemical space, and the delivery, which is the sign of slightly longer term players coming into the stock, was 4.5x higher on Tuesday compared with Monday. So Deepak Nitrite I am watching, all-time high was 3,000, and after yesterday's 6% rally, the stock is at 2175. Of course, Tata Chemicals 3.1% higher, and there is a cut in open interest, which means short covering is happening. The chart is very bullish, 8.8% lower on open interest, and this is accompanied by a 24% rise in delivery volumes. I am focusing only on sectors where you see a lot of money flow coming in, and then of course Deepak Nitrite's compatriot in trade in the FNO space, Navin Fluorine. Sadly, the ticket size is very high, 46.29. The counter closing 2.7% higher. Again, a drop in open interest signifying short covering, which means bears are moving away, taking away their short positions, and long in players are coming in. Delivery statistics, Sakshi, is 6.8 times higher for Navin Fluorine for Wednesday compared with Tuesday. So these are the 3 or 4 stocks that I am looking at: Tata Chemicals, GNFC, Navin Fluorine, and Deepak Nitrite on the long side as far as FNO trade is concerned, Sakshi. But tell me, what is Wall Street saying?
Well, good day on the Wall Street, Shail. Of course, it was the stock Nvidia that we've been talking about that fueled another tech-led rally on the Wall Street after announcing partnership with Google. The stock itself ended at a record high and leading the Nasdaq to gain about 1.7% in trade, further trimming losses of the otherwise underwhelming month. The S&P 500 also had its best single-day gain since June 2, and the Dow Jones also rose nearly about 300 odd points, ended the day 0.8% higher in trade. So good cues coming in, of course, following that European stock markets closed higher on Tuesday as well. The Asian stock markets have opened on a positive note, tracking the positive cues from Wall Street. The major indices here have been seen gaining for the third straight session. Talk about Nikkei, Hang Seng and Shanghai, all of them up for the third straight session. And following that, the Gift Nifty has also indicated a positive start for the Indian markets today. So hopes are, high as far as the opening of the markets is concerned. And then it remains for the heavyweights to continue to push the markets higher. As far as the flows are concerned, the overseas investors did turn net buyers of the Indian equities yesterday after 2 sessions of selling. We did see foreign portfolio investors buying stocks worth about 61.5 crores, and the domestic institutional investors also remain net buyers, mopping equities worth about 305 odd crore rupees in yesterday's trading action. So minor gains here and there coming in from the FIIs. Looks like they can't stay too far away from the Indian equities, Shail.
That's right, Sakshi. And as we had pointed out, the underbelly, which is the small cap and the mid caps, are booming, Sakshi. If you look at the mid cap index, I'm wondering if the PCR can draw a chart. Against a drop of 2.8% on the Nifty in October, in the month of August, and the 3.5% shrinkage that we've seen on the Bank Nifty, the mid cap Nifty index is actually up 5.1% at a record high in the month of August alone. And the rally has been very, very sharp if you see from the base of April. So about 28 to 33% rise in the mid cap index for the months of April, May, June, July and August. Ditto for small caps. And in the month of August, mid cap is up about 5.1% to a record high. So the propensity to buy, the India story, remains very, very high as far as mid caps and small caps are concerned. Sakshi, till August started, over the last 4 months, April, May, June, July, Nifty was up 13%. The Bank Nifty was up 20%. And respectively, they've given back 2.5 and 3.5% in the month of August. So this is just profit booking on frontline counters where valuations tend to become expensive and since these are main indices that are watched globally, if valuations there remain fairly okay, they pull in money and that money goes into mid caps and small caps. I have a fair feeling that for the month of September and October you'll see blue chips outperforming mid caps and small caps, simply because mid caps and small caps have rallied very sharply in the past July and August, and blue chips have actually corrected. So a swing trade you'll see in the works in the month of September and October, where frontline counters, HDFC Bank, State Bank of India, Reliance, Infosys, they'll move up compared with the mid caps in the railway, defense, PSU banking, broader PSU theme that we've tracked so well in July and August. So that's the theme. The swing trade probably would be in works between September and October for blue chips on the long side, and maybe some decent profit booking in small caps and mid caps. Sakshi.
All right, so we will continue to hope that the big heavyweights continue to move up in the new series. But let's talk about the stocks that you have to keep on your watch list today. We've been talking about the chemicals and the fertilizer space. You must also keep in mind that Tatva Chintan Pharma will be also another stock that you should watch out for today. The company has approved an allocation of 12.2 lakh equity shares at an issue price of 1630 per piece, which is 4.4% at a discount to the floor price. Remember, yesterday the stock was up by 2.2%. One can hope for another move coming in today. Of course, Zomato is going to be in focus again today. SoftBank Growth Fund may sell 10 crore shares, and that's as per reports 1.2% of the total equity via block deals, and the shares may be sold at 94 rupees a piece, translating into a deal value of 940 odd crore rupees. So Zomato will definitely be in focus. Yesterday the stock was up by 2.5%. APL Apollo Tubes here. The promoter Rahul Gupta has cleaned out his holding after selling about 15 lakh shares at 1621 per piece. The shares were down about 2.5-3% yesterday at 1625. We'll see how the stock moves in today. Lupin, that's another stock that you should watch out for. Here the company has launched another drug in Canada, and it is a generic equivalent of Indranil, and also it is used in heart problems, anxiety and migraines. And Lupin shares were marginally down yesterday at 1097. We'll see if the new launch can aid to the sentiments. Central Bank of India, another stock that you should keep on your watch list. The bank has entered into a strategic co-lending partnership with IKF Finance to offer MSME loans at competitive rates. Yesterday, the shares was mildly down by 1.2% at 35 odd levels. So we'll keep a watch on this. Suzlon, that's another stock that you should keep an eye out on. The stock was up 4.5-5% yesterday. Various order wins, including that of 285 megawatts in Kutch, Gujarat, has also been now given to the company, and that may aid the sentiments today. About 24.65 yesterday. Let's see if the stock can continue that move today as well. Shail?
Right, and this is the absolute good time to welcome our dear friend Mr. Gaurang Shah, Senior Vice President at Geojit Financial Services. Good morning, Gaurang, and greetings, best wishes for Raksha Bandhan. May the friendship band and the band of love continue to hold all of us together. And with that wishes, let's look at your view for the market and one or two stocks that you're looking on the long side, given this steep correction that we've seen on the main indices. But the party continues unabated in small caps and mid caps.
Well, thank you, Shail, and equally so, greetings of Raksha Bandhan to all your viewers, your team, Sakshi, and the entire team at BTTV. So on the market front, Shell, I think we are going to spend some more time. I think we spoke about a fortnight back or maybe 3 weeks back, and we mentioned that we are in a consolidation zone, and this consolidation zone is still intact, 19,200, 300 on the lower side, where I think we've been at least 5 or 6 times over the last 1 month, Shell, correct me if I'm wrong. And then we've managed to see some value buying at lower levels, and that has propelled us to maybe about 19,500, 600, and we get a top heavy feeling. So I think we're going to be here for some time unless and until we have some decisive news flow or a breakout which will possibly, enable us to maintain that elevated level. But till the time we do that, I think it is more prudent and sensible that we spend a little bit of longish time in this consolidation zone so that we have a very strong base building exercise. And whenever we attempt to move and break out of those 19,500, 600, I think this base will support us to move higher. So I'm not really concerned about this sideways move, but yes, within this consolidation period, Shell, I think it's going to be news flows, stock specific moves, which will possibly have some little bit of more excitement. I think there are a number of block deals that have been happening over the past couple of days. That will also keep the market excited. We had Zomato yesterday, day before that, we had APL Apollo. Likewise, I think we will have some more. But I think this is a perfect time to build up a strong portfolio if you have maybe about next 1.5, 2 year, 3 year kind of a time horizon. And in the form of investment idea, Shell, that you asked me, I think one stock which is not really spoken about, it's from the auto ancillary OEM space, CIE Automotive. We've been tracking this, recommending this on the fundamental side for a pretty long period of time. Uh, I think this stock has seen tremendous amount of move over the last maybe about 6 to 8 months, or even this year, if you go to see good moves. And the second one is Crompton Greaves Consumer. This is a little bit of underperformer stock because of the news flow and the overhang. But I think all that is priced in, and possibly in the next maybe about year and a half, you should possibly see these two stock performing well.
Right. Let's draw the chart of CIE Automotive Limited. Remember, this was a Mahindra Group company. The earlier name was Mahindra CIE Automotive Limited, and as you would see that there's a very strong tailwind coming into the auto ancillary space over the last 10 odd days. Of course, CIE Automotives already ran up very sharply. We've seen an all-time high of about 580 somewhere in the middle of July, and from then on it's consolidated at about 464, moved back up to 506. Yes, of course, very strong tailwinds coming in for the CIE Automotive Limited, and we've also seen very strong traction in sectoral leaders such as Bharat Forge, such as Alicon Cast Alloys, a lot of other forging companies such as Tube Investments and all. So a very good pick here, Gaurang. What are the two things that you like about Mahindra CIE Automotive?
I think the domestic and the global presence, Shell. I think, and of course the product offering or profile that they have. I think this augurs extremely well. And my sense is that if we are going to make India a hub of automobile manufacturing in the Southeast Asia, and if you expect the auto sector to do well, and if you have multiple lineups in the next about 3 to 6 months, by the time we say goodbye to 2023 December, there are a number of launches that are likely to happen. And if you want to really, and the focus is now, Shell, more on not on mileage but safety. Earlier we used to ask the question कितना देती है. Now we are asking the question कितना सुरक्षित रखती है हमारी गाड़ी या वाहन जो भी है. So I think that's the major change that will drive, companies like Mahindra CIE Automotive, Bharat Forge, Bosch, in fact, is also one of the picks that we have a buy coverage on the fundamental side. So, I mean, if you expect auto to do well, and if you expect the export market to augur well, then I think auto ancillary OEM segment should also do well.
Right. And just a point of note here, the top line for Mahindra CIE Automotive is 19,200 crore rupees, and the profit is at about 93 crore rupees. Remember, these are annual numbers that I'm talking about. Forgings per se as a business is a low margin, low ticket item, commoditative phase as far as the industry part is concerned, but that's how it is. And given the change of parentage, this stock should do very well. Paying attention to Crompton Greaves, which is at the moment also in a corrective phase, and we've seen the stock price hit a lot of 52-week highs, about 424. Crompton Greaves at 302. This is the one that you're talking about, Gaurang, right?
Yes, that's the one. That's the one, Shail.
Okay. So what we'll do is we'll again touch upon Crompton Greaves in a while. Welcoming Mileen Vasudev. He's the senior technical analyst at Arihant Capital and a master at picking winners on charts. Good morning, Mileen. What are the one or two stocks that you're looking at? The Nifty opening 36 points higher at in the pre-open trades, but we'll just look at it in a while. Mileen, good morning. Your first pick on the charts.
Good morning, Shail. My first pick would be Deepak Nitrate. Yesterday we had seen a strong activity in this counter with huge volume. Even the momentum indicators are positively poised. This is clearly an outperformer at current levels. Now it is currently, it must be trading at 2170. Yesterday's close was there. And one can keep a stop loss of 2050. I would say 100 rupees stop loss. And the target price would be somewhere around 2365 to 470 in couple of days time. The second stock which I'm liking is PCBL, which is currently trading at 168 somewhere. One can buy at current level or on a decline up to 162 with a stop loss of 156, and the target price would be somewhere around 186 and 196 levels. Both these stocks have shown strong volume behavior. Even the third stock I would like to recommend is GPPL, currently trading at 127. Can keep a stop loss of, can buy on a decline up to 122, and stop loss would be 117 just of 10 rupees, and target would be 147 and 157 in couple of weeks time.
Right. So these are the three stocks that Mileen has on his technical charts. We'll just pay a bit of attention to how pre-open markets have sort of established themselves on this T-1 Wednesday morning. The Nifty flat 19,333, just 10 points lower. And Sakshi, the good news is that Reliance is 0.5% higher in earlier trades, 24.34. What also is looking on the green side is a flat HDFC Bank, 1590 for you. Infosys down 0.5%. Remember, these three are the three most heaviest counters on the Nifty, and then they decide the intraday moves. What is on the green side? State Bank of India, the top loser in Bank Nifty for the month of August, is opening marginally in the green, 0.2% higher, 575.85. Axis Bank 0.2% higher, 982. Hindustan Lever is in the red, 0.5% higher, 25.13. And ICICI Bank is in the red, 0.7% higher, 961. I'll take a very quick look at what's happening in the FNO space, because that's the most interesting thing that is there for the month of August. We are on T-1, and of course rollovers would matter a lot. Okay, amongst the high beta, IDFC First Bank 1.8% higher, 19,190. We have Coforge 1.4% higher, 5,300. Lupin News Driven 1.7% higher, 1115. Very strong traction coming in here. Let's look at NSE 500. Among the top gainers, GeoFin 4.5% higher, 230. Remember, there was some unconfirmed news yesterday that the parent bought about 5 crore shares from the open market. that needs to be confirmed. News driven Zomato 4.5% higher 99. Suzlon 4.5% higher 25.85. What else is taking? Central Bank of India news driven 2% higher 35.95. The Nifty, ladies and gentlemen, is now above 19,400, up 67. Let's get Gaurang and Milene back on the screen and talk about chemical prices. Gaurang, very strong rallies coming in from beaten down counters like Deepak Nitrite, Navin Fluorine, GHCL, Tata Chemicals. We've seen very bad days over the last 2 years, 2.5 years, where these stocks have actually come off very sharply. Anything that catches your fancy on the charts fundamentally as far as the chemical space is concerned?
So let's speak about the entire space. I think most of the companies in the specialty agrochemical space, Shell, went through a lot of capex, and they invested a lot in R&D. And the Europe plus one, China plus one policy, I think we were extremely positive since the time these became a reality. It opens up tremendous amount of opportunities for the Indian pharmaceutical, I beg your pardon, Indian specialty and agrochemical companies. So we have coverage on PI Industries, Vinati Organics, Tata Chemicals, Aarti Industries, UPL, Pidilite, to name a few. And my sense is that you will you won't see an immediate outperformance of the sector. Given the opportunities that lie going ahead into the future, I think if you have a longish time horizon, given the valuation and the consolidation or correction, you call it whatever you may, I think it's a great opportunity to start accumulating these companies.
Okay, let me get Milene here. Season's greetings to you, Milene. And, let's look at some of the very high beta stocks right now that are buzzing and the top gainers on a monthly basis in their own sectors in the F&O space. Let's look at BHEL, for example, that is buzzing in trade. Let's also look at Bharat Forge. These two stocks, let's look at 115 currently for BHEL, up by 0.7% in the pre-opening trade. Bharat Forge 1074, up by about 0.2 odd percent right now. Your thoughts? Any of the stocks that you like?
See, on the weekly chart, if you see, BHL has given a strong consolidation breakout of 4 weeks, and then it has started making a higher high formation. Now, even it is not breaking the short-term moving average line, like 10 and 20 moving average line. It is just holding on to it. Now, if one has to enter in this counter, can keep a stop loss of 104. On the higher side, it can test the levels of somewhere around 126 to an outer level of 134 in couple of weeks time. The second stock you said is Bharat Forge. Bharat Forge currently it is trading at 1070, but now for last 5 weeks it is continuously making a higher high formation. So the risk reward ratio is not in your favor, but those who are holding this stock can maintain a stop loss of say somewhere around 1025. On the higher side, yes, you may see the levels of say 1090 to 1110 levels. So one in couple of weeks time.
Okay, some more stocks, that are buzzing in trade right now from the pharma space, especially. Of course, Lupin is something that I wanted to ask your opinion on. The company has again launched a new drug for anxiety, for heart problems in Canada. The stock was buzzing yesterday, 1.5% higher. At 11.15 currently, and it is also gaining in the top F&O basket as far as the pharma on a monthly basis is concerned. Laurus Labs, that's another stock showing very good price action in today's trading action. Your thoughts on both of these stocks?
See, I'll first come on Lupin. If you see Lupin for last 4 weeks, it is trading sideways in the range of say somewhere around 1090 on the higher side, and on the lower side somewhere around 1000 levels. Now, if this level is broken of say 1143 is the upper range. If that range is being broken, then again this can go on the higher side and test the levels of 1200 1220 levels. The second second stock is Laurus Lab. Laurus Lab also is trading sideways on the daily chart. Even the momentum indicators are not showing any positive momentum. So one can hold this stock with a stop loss of say somewhere around 370 on the higher side. Yes, you could expect the levels of 410 to 420 levels.
Right. These are the top gainers in their respective fields in the month of August expiry, which is BHEL, Bharat Forge, Lupin, and of course Laurus Labs. Milind, because you watch FNO data with such intensity, maybe just check with you what are the 2 or 3 stocks that are showing very, very strong rollovers on the long side and have positive price action, and 1 or 2 stocks where you see momentum slacking and having strong rollovers, which would probably look at bearish trends for the month of September.
See, Shail, I'm a pure technical analyst. I don't see that option data much, but definitely the 2 counters which come out in my this thing, because yesterday's chemical stocks were moving on the higher side. One is Deepak Nitrate, and second what we have discussed is Tata Chemical. Now, Tata Chemical has also shown a good lateral consolidation breakout yesterday only. And now if you see Tata Chemical currently trading, it has opened at what 1076 levels, but I expect the stock to run towards say 1100, 1200 in couple of weeks time.
Okay, and what would your top pick be for the month of September for the FNO expiry, Milind?
I would say Deepak Nitrate, because Deepak Nitrate is a stock where I feel it has given, after a deep correction, Deepak Nitrate has come out with a strong price volume breakout. And in this month, I feel that this stock is likely to head and test the levels of 2400, 2300 to 2400 levels.
Okay.
Right, we'll try and pull out the daily chart of Deepak Nitrite for you. Remember, this was one pick that I had also highlighted before markets opened somewhere like 845, and the most recent peak is 2265, and for the month of September, Milind expects this to be taken out. Remember, this was hit somewhere in the month of July. And talking about consolidation, we've seen an all-time high of 3,000 rupees on Deepak Nitrite somewhere in November of 2021. Very bad days we've seen in the chemical space because of excessive price correction on volume sales as well as finished product sales, and that seems to be drawing to a close. Sakshi, probably it's Raksha Bandhan, therefore the Nifty seems to be celebrating a gap up. It's taken out both R1 and R2 resistances in initial trade, 90 points higher at 19,433. Let me just tell you the stocks that are contributing to this gain. Reliance 0.5% higher, 2432. Infosys is 0.6% higher, 1427. And HDFC Bank is about 0.9% higher, 1603. What's interesting, Sakshi, is that all 10 index heavyweights by weightage are in the green on the Nifty. And another interesting thing I want to tell you is that of the 51 stocks that make up the Nifty, just one of them is in the red, which is BPCL, which means that an advanced decline ratio of 50:1. So probably the best has already happened on the Nifty, and from these levels you just might see profit booking coming in on option side. Sakshi, what have you seen?
Well, I think it's Raksha Bandhan, like you pointed out, and since it's a festival which we celebrate with a lot of good food, Zomato is on my radar. And in the pre-opening action, we are seeing the stock rally about 5% or 99.5. Gaurang mentioned the stock. Of course, this is on the back of 6 block deals that we've seen. 10 crore shares have exchanged hands in today's trade. Like we had pointed out, there is an expectation that SoftBank Group would have exchanged hands, sold 10 crore shares, or 1.2% of the total equity right here at around 94 odd levels, and the deal is expected to have been of about 940 odd crore rupees. And before the markets opened, we also had a brokerage call of HSBC on Zomato, which now has increased the target price from 102 to 120 now, with a buy rating right here. Gaurang, I'll come to you on Zomato. At 99.5, what would you really say on Zomato?
It's actually, this stock has been in news for the block deals. Not only yesterday and this morning, but even earlier, there were, I think, a couple of block deals that happened. And a lot of people discuss that XYZ large investor exited this particular company. I look at it at the flip side that, okay, fine, if XYZ large investor has exited, I think ABC large investor has bought the share. So I would rather look at glass half full than glass half empty. As a disclosure, we do have a buy coverage on Zomato. We had a IPO recommendation as well, Sakshi. Then the stock split, went down below the IPO floor price, then it recovered. I think currently, if you ask me, if I'm not mistaken, what excites us about the entire Zomato, stock is forget about the food delivery platform. I think Blinkit, which is the household delivery platform, that's going extremely, extremely well. So 110, 120 could be the target.
Right. And on this lovely Wednesday morning, let's look at how the opening trades are ticking on Dalal Street. Nifty 80 points higher, 19,420. Nifty Bank 0.5% higher, 185, up 44,672. Nifty IT Index 0.6% higher, 31,068. Remember, we are on T-1. You will see some amount of short covering which will propel indices higher. The intraday high for the Nifty so far is 19,435, the index at 19,421. Let's look at what's keeping this index up. Let's look at amongst the index heavyweights, what is Reliance doing? Reliance is up 0.4%, 2430. HDFC Bank is 0.5% higher, 1598. ITC is in the green, 0.5% higher, 442. Infosys 0.6% higher, 1427. What is on the red in index heavyweights? It's Hindustan Unilever, 0.2% lower, 2521. This is the only loser amongst the index heavyweights. Nifty now pulling up from intraday low, 19,430, up 88. Within the FNO space, let's look at which is the top gainer so far. India Cement 2% higher, 248. Hindustan Copper 1.5% higher, 154. What's the most active counter in FNO? BHEL 0.2% higher, 114.85. Let's shift focus immediately to NSE 500. Zomato 4.5% higher, 99. Geofin 4% higher, 230. Remember, we are talking about real high beta. BHEL 0.5% higher, 115.30. Infosys 0.7% higher, 1427. These are the most active traders on Nifty 500. Top gainers, we have Suzlon and Zomato, and GPPL. Remember, this is a pick from Milin Vasudev. This is Gujarat Port, 3.2% higher, 132.35. Keep an eye out on these stocks. Coming quickly to Milin. Milin, what would you want to do on opening trades? Anything that looks interesting to you?
See, actually, if you see, BHEL is a stock which is quite interesting. Yes, after 3-4 days of a correction, then again it has made a good upswing. And even if you get a little bit a dip in this counter, one should try to enter in it and keep a stop loss of say somewhere around 100 and somewhere around 107. On the higher side, you could expect 120 to 125 in today's trading session.
Okay, BHL is Milline's top pick. Let's look at the broader markets. Advanced decline ratio fairly strong, favoring bulls on T minus 1. 1146 stocks in the green, 804 in the red. Sakshi, what's really good is that all 19 indices that we track are in the green. Nifty Realty is the top gainer, 0.9% higher, 552. Small cap index, fresh record high, 0.7% higher, 12,114. Nifty IT index taking it away, 0.67% higher, 31,074. Pharma, metals, PSU banks, auto, all in the green. It's a fantastic opening. And let's look at the chemical space because that's where the most action is. I want to see what Deepak Nitrite is doing, and somehow it's not there on my screen. Deepak Nitrite, Sakshi, can you watch out?
Deepak Nitrite at this point in time, Shail, also buzzing in trade. Let me quickly get that for you. All right, so the stock is up by, it's 2178 as of now is what, again 2171 currently, flattish right now at this point, Shail.
Okay, let's look at gainers. GNFC. Milline, anything that you'd like to do here? Another very strong chemicals contender, 60940.
The GNFC, what you said just now, is also looking good on the chart. But yes, it has got some resistance at around somewhere around 620 levels. But yes, if you keep a stop loss of say somewhere around 600, you could expect a move towards say 620 and 625.
Okay. A lot of other chemical names also, Shell, you know, Ami Organics, IOC Chemicals, Bodil Chemicals, these are all, firing away. In fact, Aarti Industries is one of the top gainers in the FNO basket as well. So, Milline, your take on some of the other movers in the second leg of the rally in the chemicals basket that you like?
If you see, if just now you said the name of Ami Organic. I'm very bullish on Ami Organic, and we have recommended to our clients at say somewhere around 1200 levels, and we expect this counter to test the levels of say somewhere around 1450 to 1600 levels in couple of weeks time. So we are very bullish on Ami Organic.
Bullish on Ami Organics, currently 4.6% higher in trade at 1379. Two of the picks by Milline, they've started to move as well. Deepak Nitrite, let's pull up that stock. Also, let's pull up Gujarat Pipavav. Both of them have started to show some moves right at the opening trade. And you can see Deepak Nitrite now 2171.4 currently. Let's also look at Gujarat Pipavav, 132. 3.2% higher for this one at the current levels. The targets that you are recommending for the short to medium term here, what would they be, Milline?
See, for the GPPL, I'm expecting a move towards 147 and 157. The second stock, GPPL, I would say the target would be 2365 and 2470 levels. So these are our 1 or 2 weeks. You can hold for 1 or 2 weeks. You can get this target.
Okay, one more stock, just one more stock that I wanted to point out, and that is Gokul Das Exports. Yesterday, I remember we had pointed out this stock at the pre-opening trade. The stock hit 20% upper circuit yesterday. It's again on the move today, 8.65% higher for this one. News flow remaining that it has acquired Dubai-based, UAE-based apparel manufacturer. 803 currently for Gokul Das Exports. Milline, your take on this stock?
See, currently for 2 consecutive trading session, it is up nearly by say 29 to 30%. So there would be no risk to reward ratio over here. But those who are holding it can keep a stop loss of say somewhere yesterday's high was somewhere around 817. So you can keep a stop loss of say 770. Today's low is somewhere around 772. So you can keep a stop loss of 750 and hold a counter. On the higher side, yes, you could get the levels of 850 to 900 levels. But I feel that at current levels, one should book some profit because at higher level, there could be some profit booking in this counter.
Let's get Gaurang into the discussion. Nifty at the moment consolidating 75 points higher, somewhere like 19,419 in front of you. Gaurang, would you have a view on Gujarat Pipavav Port? Of course, Million's pointed that out on the technical charts. Does Geojit Financial Services have coverage on this stock?
Shail don't have a coverage, so I won't be able to make a company-specific comment, but I can comment on the sector. And our view on this entire sector is, and I think Gateway Distillery Parks is one particular company, if I am not mistaken, we have a coverage on. But that is not a recommendation. But I think entire this freight container logistic management companies are going to see better days. We are slowly and steadily becoming an export-oriented hub. And I think if the focus of the government is going to be an elaborated one, and if we are going to have more touch points in terms of seaports, I think this augurs extremely well for this particular sector. But it's going to be a very longish kind of a time horizon, Shail. This is just the beginning. And I think, like defense, 3 years back, if you recollect, when the announcement, or 4 years back, when the announcement was made, nobody was convinced enough that this would be the opportunity that we are witnessing right now. Similarly, is going to be the case for port, container freight companies, even railways, Shell. I think this is going to be a major game changer, but you need to have that kind of time horizon.
As far as Gujarat Pipavav Port is concerned, of course, there is no recommendation coming in. But since Milleen pointed it out and the stock is doing extremely well on charts, revenue of 927 crores trailing 12 months, an extremely strong profit-making company. 321 crores is the top line for the trailing 12 months. Zero debt, and we've seen a market capitalization of about 6,200. I just want to see what is the all-time high for the stock. That will give you the margin of safety. The all-time high is 263, and the stock after 3 days of stunning rally is at 133. And today's volumes are somewhere like 17 lakh shares so far in the first 5-7 minutes of trade. Super pick, Milleen there. Anything else that's buzzing on your charts, Milleen?
See, there is one small counter called BLS International. That is a stock which is attracting my attention. That is, one can nearly keep a stop loss somewhere around, say, 260 rupees and ride this move. This counter has got a potential to move towards, say, somewhere around 300 and 320 levels.
Okay, let's also look at the auto stocks then. A lot of auto stocks are buzzing in trade. So let's look at that. Of course, we did discuss some of the auto OEMs right there. Gaurang also pointed them out. But right now, if we look, a lot of names from the Nifty Auto Basket are moving in trade. So let me pick them out for you quickly. From the Nifty Auto space, the ones on the top right now are TVS Motor Company, M&M, Tata Motors, Ashok Leyland, all of them upwards of 1.5%. Ashok Leyland is something that we've constantly discussed with Gaurang before. Bajaj Auto, Eicher Motors again picking up pace right now. Bharat Forge, that's the stock that is also moving in trade right now. Maruti Suzuki, another stock that's up by 0.5% currently. TVS Motors clearly 2.5% higher, the top mover in the Nifty Auto Index right now. I would want your take, Gaurang, on the auto space, especially as when we talk about the F&O space also. Bharat Forge is looking at some long build-up right here. Ashok Leyland, again, another top pick. But what about TVS Motor? Is that a stock that you watch out for, 2.5% higher today?
It will be though being one of the expensive stocks amongst these peers in the two-wheeler category, Shakshi. I think we discussed. This stock was uh, reaffirmed as a buy coverage from our side at 1100, and there was a lot of skepticism in terms of the valuation. And I always believe in one thing, that if you want to buy a quality stock, or if you want to buy a good branded goods, you have to pay a premium for it. There is no cheap availability in the market out there. And the kind of lineup that they've had and the kind of launches that they have planned, Ronin is one. Zeppelin, I think, would be a game changer in terms of mid or high end motorcycles. Uh, Electric, vehicles product profile is doing extremely well. Automated scooter equally doing well, including torque, etc. So my sense is that, and of course, the monsoon being good enough in some parts, excessive enough in some parts, dry spell in some parts. I think the first turnaround in terms of offtake of numbers is going to be two-wheelers from semi-urban and rural India. And Sakshi, what I have witnessed it, gone are the days when the demand is going to be somewhere around 75,000, 80,000, or 1,25,000 motorcycle at the entry level segment from semi-urban rural India. That has gone up to maybe 350cc and more. So in effect, a person who could afford only about, say, a lakh of rupees is now willing to pay in excess of 3 lakh rupees. So that's the aspiration change that I'm talking about.
Okay. From the auto basket,
Right.
Mileen, which is
And
your top
somehow
pick?
I've observed, Sakshi.
Yeah. Shall carry on.
Let's talk about your top pick, Mileen, from the auto space. I just wanted to say somehow, whenever Mileen, Gaurang, I and Sakshi get together, somehow the discussion shifts to bikes. There is some kind of totka here, but we'll discuss this a little bit later. Mileen, your top pick in the auto space.
See, there are two stocks which are showing good sign of strength. That is, one is TVS Motor and second is M&M. Now, even TVS Motor, if you see, it is clearly outperforming the benchmark indices, and now it is coming out from 10 days of consolidation break. It is giving a consolidation breakout, which is a very strong signal in this stock. You could keep a stop loss of 1380. On the higher side, this counter has got a potential to test 1450 to 1475 levels in couple of days time. The second stock which I'm liking is M&M. Now M&M, clearly, if you see on the monthly charts, last month it was a doji candle type, and the last month high was somewhere around 1594. Now currently it is trading very close to it, and once it crosses that level, then you could expect a new targets of, say, somewhere around 1650 to 1700 levels.
Right. Yeah, Sakshi.
All right. One more space that I wanted to discuss is the cement basket. We are seeing India Cements again up as the top gainer on the F&O space today. Gaurang first and then to Mileen right here. We've seen a lot of cement stocks really buzz in action of late in the last few trading sessions. India Cements definitely among the top gainers today. How are you looking at the entire cement space, and is this something that you're watching out for structurally to build up for the next 1 or 2 years?
Is that question for me, Sakshi?
Yes, Gaurang.
Okay, fine. So I think my good friend Shail is witness to our views on the entire cement pack. And let me say this and reaffirm this. We have almost about 8 or 9 stocks amongst the large cap and the mid cap universe in the cement sector that we are extremely positive about. And Sakshi, if we are talking about India's GDP going to 7%, 7.5 and beyond, then I think will only be achievable as and when we create infrastructure and modernize the existing one. look at the kind of infrastructure activity at state level and at central level that the government is undertaking. Under the Gati Shakti Yojana, most of these infrastructure projects have now been put on fast tracks. With state election and central election, when a big election next year, I think all these activities will further be extended, and more infrastructure projects are going to, put at ground level reality. Look at private capex. Look at the change in the real estate sector. And unless and until you consume cement, you can't create a durable infrastructure. You can't create any capex. You can't have a very strong and resilient real estate sector. I'm quite optimistic about this entire, universe of cement, starting with ACC, Ultratech, Ambuja, Grasim, then going down to Dalmia, Bharat, Shree Cement, JK Lakshmi Cement, Ramco Cement, Sagar Cement, Birla Corp, and I believe that this is going. Only problem is that there should not be cartelization and artificial pushing up of prices of cement bags, which was the case some time back, and the Competition Commission of India had pulled up some of the companies and even penalized them. But otherwise, I think these are great companies.
Great companies. Okay, some of the topics coming in from the cement basket from Gaurang to you. What about you, Milin? Anything that looks technically very strong from the cement basket currently?
See, I would go with Ultratech Cement. Now, clearly, Ultratech Cement has made somewhere a double bottom at 8,000 levels, and now it is moving on the higher side. Now, initial resistance for Ultratech is somewhere around 8350 levels. Once that level is being cleared, then yes, Ultratech Cement is likely to test the levels of, say, 8450, 8600 in couple of months' time.
Okay, anything from the mid-cap cement basket, since Ultratech Cement is a high ticket price, 82, 86 currently, unaffordable for many, but from the mid-cap cement basket, if you can pick out any top pick of yours?
See, Sakshi, I don't know whether Everest Industry is from the same sector, but I'm liking Everest Industry this stock has got a good potential to go on the higher side. Now, we have already recommended to our clients at somewhere around 1,000 levels. Now, currently trading at 1209, but I expect this stock to test the levels of, say, somewhere around 1300 to 1400 levels in couple of weeks' time.
Everest Industries is in the business of making cement sheets, the ones that you see providing the awning in villages, and of course providing support against the elements of rain, heat, and how should I say, sunlight. Let's look at where the markets are at the moment. 19,430. So in the first 15 to 20 minutes of trade, we've seen the Nifty consolidating. At 19,430, the index is up 86, and the Bank Nifty is up 250 at 44,750. Milin, it's an interesting trade for bulls today. The gap up took out R1 and R2 on the charts, and the third resistance on the Nifty is somewhere like 19,450. Let's see if that provides any resistance. Otherwise, probably strong short covering, which is propelling the index higher on T-1. Tomorrow, of course, we end our August expiry. Milin, which is the strongest blue chip stock in the Nifty that you're looking on the charts?
That is from the auto sector itself, Mahindra and TVS. These are both even see in current trading session only, they are still making a new high. So I am very bullish on TVS as well as Mahindra.
Sakshi.
Okay. One more space that I wanted to discuss, Gaurang, with you is a lot of financial names are doing very well today. SBFC Finance, Manappuram Finance, Bajaj Twins, of course. We also have Shriram Finance that's up in trade today. PFC is a counter that we've discussed many times over in the past as well. What is appealing to you now in terms of the financials?
So starting with a big ticket name like Bajaj Finance, then going on to Chola, Shriram, M&M Finance, L&T Finance and Holdings. We are also positive on some of the microfinance companies like AU Small Finance, Ujjivan Finance. And my sense is that, if you are positive on the entire banking universe, then you cannot keep yourself away from strong NBFC names that I've just mentioned. And I think over here also credit demand is going to show extreme strength in terms of margins, which will translate into higher net profit as well.
Right. Let's get Milin's picks on the show. We've seen very, very strong traction coming on BHEL. 117.40, the stock's running away. I see a lot of block deals happening. As also GPPL, that's Gujarat Pipavav Port. The stock at its intraday peak of somewhere like 132, 133. These are the ones that Milin picked up before markets started. And of course, the star of the chemical space, Deepak Nitrite, which is doing extremely well on the charts. Milin, before we thank you, anything that you're watching on the bike side, any new models that caught your fancy, which Gaurang can buy and both of us can ride?
No, I would, Shell, I would just see, since he's a fundamental guy, he keeps close watch on the economic sector and all that. So I would like him to recommend me any other bike rather than Royal Enfield.
Okay, and it's interesting, Sakshi, you have not noticed the top pick of Nifty as far as Milin is concerned is TVS Motors.
Yeah.
Again a two-wheeler.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, when you're talking about the new launches, Hrithik Roshan also unveiled the Charisma XMR. How many of you really watched it yesterday? Gaurang is nodding. He's the one who's seen it first. Tell me what... Okay.
So all of us watched the bike, Sakshi, and you watched Hrithik Roshan. I am very sure about this.
That is true.
But what's really interesting, Milin, is that given the red color that I'm wearing and the fact that your second top pick in the Nifty is Mahindra and Mahindra, I'll be sending you a couple of photos on something that I am getting customized over the last 10 odd days, and I'm sure you're really, really going to like it. It is thanks to Mahindra and Mahindra that something has entered my stable, and just await the picks from my side. I'm also giving a decent heads up to Gaurang. I'll be sending him some very nice picks. Give me 10 days. A lot of effort has gone into it. I'm sure you will both enjoy the work that I've done on this particular vehicle.
I think the next time we all get together,
it's
Shail.
always a pleasure.
The next time we all get together, Shail, you have to do the show right on the roads in that Thar. And that'll make for a fantastic viewership too.
Hey, you're on.
Shell, when you will come to Bombay, you have to meet me. I have given an open invitation for you to come in my Gymkhana. Last time we had met at Nariman Point. We were walking over there, and that party is still remaining on me. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I meet you tomorrow and day after. I'm in your town, and we'll certainly catch up. Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to thank Milin. Last week, his top pick was Garden Reach Shipbuilders. Remember, it just rocketed beyond belief. And this week he's picked up GPPL, BHEL and Deepak Nitrite on the charts. Remember, these are good medium-term picks on technical charts too. Thank you so much, Milin. And coming back to our dear friend Mr. Gaurang Shah. Gaurang, September is on our way, and it's also the end of the 9 months for the calendar year, as also drawing close to the quarter. Anything that catches your interest on the long side?
So I'm extremely positive about the entire defense pack. Some may argue that they have run up. Some may argue that some large funds are exiting, etc., etc. But shall just look at the commentary in terms of business outlook and the order book and the earning visit. I'm not only talking about domestic order book. Look at the kind of orders that they've been getting from overseas. And my sense is that a couple of investment ideas, if you will, in the defense pack. I think one is, of course, BEL, Bharat Electronics Limited Shell. This particular company is really placing itself a low ticket item, but great opportunity. So this is one from the government defense PSU. And the second one has just caught my eye because it has crossed over 2700, and that is L&T, Larsen and Toubro share. No, all cylinders are fired up, whether it is defense business or whether it is turnkey projects, whether it is hydrocarbon, whether it is infrastructure or any other complex, business vertical. The kind of order book that they have, I think next 2 to 3 years are very comfortably landed for this company. And other than being a top performer, this is also one of the most investor friendly companies in terms of giving out dividend and bonuses share. So two investment ideas from the defense as well as capital goods engineering, BEL and L&T.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Gaurang, for being with us and sharing these wonderful ideas. Always a pleasure having you with us on Business Today TV and giving such insightful take on all of these stocks from a long-term perspective. And, we will come back to you. You've always discussed these generational stocks with us and, something that can create wealth over the very, very long term. And I'm sure a lot of viewers on Raksha Bandhan today can take that pick in case you're looking to gift your brothers or sisters today. These are picks that they can cherish for life and thank you for lifetime. These are the picks that you can definitely take on. Thank you so much, Gaurang. Pleasure having you with us. And let's now shift focus to our corporate radar. We have with us a special guest joining right in. Mr. Shalabh Saxena joins in. The company in our focus today is Spandana Spurti Finance, and Mr. Shalabh Saxena is the MD and CEO of the firm. The microfinance company recently had reported its Q1 numbers as well. It had reported 119 crore rupees consolidated net profit, and that was against a loss of 220 odd crore rupees in the year ago period as well. Mr. Saxena, welcome to you and thank you so much for taking the time out for this discussion on Business Today TV. I'm Sakshi and with me is my colleague Shail Bhatnagar as well. The first question that I wanted to understand from you is from the earnings space itself. What really helped you return to profits in Q1? And now will it be sustainable for the rest of the quarters in FY24?
So, good morning, Sakshi and Shail. Thank you for inviting me. Fundamentally, the turnaround from an earnings point of view was the fact, if I turn the clock back in about 4 quarters back last year, Q1 of FY23, we had written off about 701 crore of portfolio, as the result of which we had booked a loss of 220 crores. So that was the first quarter of the last financial year. This loss was essentially outcome of the COVID pain, which we are. I am sure you're aware that there has been a change in the management in Spandana. The new management took over about 5 quarters back. So, Q1 of last year was the first quarter where we decided to kind of do what was the right thing to do. We cleaned up the balance sheet and then we had 3 quarters to kind of recoup. Thankfully, the team supported. There were tailwinds and we did the right things, as a result of which we reported a profit, as you said, of 119 crores. To your second question in terms of is it sustainable or not, Yeah, if you go back to our the last post the Q1, the Q2, Q3, Q4 of last year and Q1 of this year, there has been a consistent and steady increase on in all the vectors, be it not just the the outcome, which is the PAT, but also the NIMs and the the yields, etc. Most importantly, we've been able to control the quality of the portfolio, and it has improved significantly. So that has led to what we are. And yes, the answer is yes. We hope to continue over the next quarters that are coming in terms of delivering what we had set out to achieve.
Welcome, Mr. Saxena, to Business Today Television. And what we'll do is we'll draw a long-term chart for Spandana Sphurti. As Shalabh rightly mentions, there has been a change of management, and the company's gone through some terrible troughs. It's now trading somewhere like 801, 802 rupees. Remember, this was also its offer for sale, its IPO. Somewhere in August of 2019 came into the markets, and it was a very well accepted IPO. The stock actually went up to 1300 levels, and as the COVID pain increased, and as we already know, the volatility in microfinance businesses, Spandana saw some bad days, but it's up and ticking back up again with the new management. Shalabh, focusing on where the growth is coming from, what has been your geographical expansion in the quarter that's gone by, and what are the new areas, new states, new cities that you're looking to add over the next 2 quarters?
So Shell, it's a very important question to answer because people only tend to look at the outcome and do not really know the story behind the outcome. The last year when we took over, we came out with a document called a Vision 25 document, where we laid out to the market and all the stakeholders what are we planning to do as the new management over the next 3 years, from 22 until 25. We are halfway through. So one of the key things that we had articulated in the document was geographical expansion. Geographical concentration risk, a very big risk in microfinance, and hence it is extremely important that that risk is mitigated through diversifying into various states. So we, as a company and as a management, we identified 7 key states where we had a market share of under 3%, under 0.3%, 0.4%. So we had insignificant market share in those 7 states. The 7 states are Gujarat, Rajasthan, Haryana, UP, Bihar, West Bengal. This is predominantly the northern part, and then one state in the south, which was Tamil Nadu. So as a strategy, what we said was that we are going to grow in these 7 states. These 7 states will be our focus states, while still maintaining a significant balance in the existing geographies which Spandana had already. So Spandana was essentially spread in Orissa, Maharashtra, and down south. That was where it was mostly concentrated. So we came out with that plan for the next 3 years. And if I draw you a chart of FY25, we will have, at this point in time, our largest state is Madhya Pradesh at 15%. If I draw you a chart of end of FY25, we will be very well spread across 19 states, number one. Number two, the largest state will be about 11%, 11.5%. So that's how we've planned. We are trying to mitigate the geographical risk so that we grow in a very secular manner across the country.
Okay.
Shalabh, since you point out that there's been a change in management, would you highlight the 2 or 3 changes that shareholders might expect in terms of positive outcomes over the next 1 or 2 years?
So Shell, one of the things, so it's a point of view on what is right or what is wrong. So as far as we are concerned, when we took over, there were few practices which we've reinforced. People practice, attracting talent, number two, focusing on technology, from a security, stability, and scalability point of view. Number three. Number four, geographical expansion to ensure the concentration risk is mitigated. Number four. Number five, and which is the most important thing, is focus on customer acquisition instead of the ticket sizes. Now, this is a bit of a contradictory, position from typically how one would expect a growth from a lender point of view would come from. As far as we are concerned, what we are focused on is we will acquire more and more customers. We will be muted on ticket sizes. So our ticket sizes we will not increase, because that's what in our belief a microfinance should be. You should always be slightly muted on ticket sizes, acquire more and more customers. The market, in our view, is still under penetrated. The addressable market, it's still about 48, 49%, 50% penetrated. So you still have a lot of headroom available. Acquire more customers. These are the five things that we started with. We are progressing well. We are now 6 quarters already into the plan, another 6 quarters to go. I would stick my neck out and say that we are very well on track.
Okay, very well on track. I'll get back to all the expansion plans and on the financials as well. But if you could give us any color, we've just seen Spandana Spurti, a block deal happen on the exchanges today. 5.5% equity has exchanged hands. Could you give us more details on this? If you have any details of who are the buyers and sellers in this?
I also saw what you saw, and I also know that So it's only end of the day is when we'll know the position. At this point in time, obviously, I can't comment on that.
Okay, sir. And that's why you can actually see a slight decline on the stock, about 2.5% down on the stock. But Mr. Saxena, talking about your asset quality, that has shown a considerable amount of improvement. It did, the gross NPAs have now fallen to 1.6% at the end of the June quarter from 2.07% 3 months prior to this. The net NPA now stands at 0.5%. Do you think there is scope to further improve the asset quality? What is the guidance that you'd like to give here?
Sakshi, one of the critical things in a microfinance is that you have to have a complete control over the quality that you source. And that's exactly what we did over the past 5 quarters. And that's the reason the numbers that you just quoted, that's how it has kind of progressed. Although in all our financials, we've baked a credit loss of about 2%. I think the current trends over the past 4 or 5 quarters on the business that we have sourced is much lower. However, from a P&L and a guidance point of view, we still are baking in 2% credit loss in our financials, and that's how we are taking it. I'd be surprised if we hit that number, but then on a long-term basis, so there could be few blips here and there, but broadly, that's the range that one should look at.
Right. We have some more details as far as that block is concerned. Obviously, the sellers' visibility is not there at the moment, but the size of the block was 283 crore rupees. About 36,76,000 shares have changed hands at an average price of 772 on Spandana Spurti, and we know that the previous management has indicated its intention to keep on divesting its existing holdings. So one presumes that this kind of liquidity is coming from that quarter only. Shalabh, taking the discussion forward, what has been the average ticket size of your loan in the past quarter, and is there a certain geography apart from Madhya Pradesh where you are seeing more demand coming in year on year in the past quarter compared with the year ago number?
So, Shail, two questions. I'll answer the last one first. The demand is secular across all the states. That's that's the headline. The reasons are as follows. One, there's a pent-up demand for the last 2 years when the COVID kind of took over, and this is the segment which is the most vulnerable segment. and hence they do take time. They evaluate the position and then they take some time to kind of get back. So so that's reason number one. Reason number two is the country has seen a lot of investment from the government side into the Bharat of India, into the rural India. So what has happened is that so much of infrastructure expansion and money flowing into the rural India has increased the income levels of our customers. Spandana Spurti is a 90% rural distribution company. So, we really cater to the deepest of Bharat, as I call it. So that is one of the strong reasons why we see a consistent and a reasonably robust demand that comes out of our segment. So that's number one. Number two, to your question on the ticket size, we kind of monitor it slightly differently. In our view, one should look at the indebtedness level of a customer, because that's very critical. A ticket size is a factor of the policy of the company. A particular company could give 4 loans in 2 years. Another company could give 1 loan only in 2 years. So hence there is that nuance. As far as we are concerned, our average indebtedness at a customer level is around 34,000. Going back to the point I was making early in the narrative, you will see this coming down over the quarters, because we are focusing on acquiring more customers and less on the ticket size or the loan amount. So that's our philosophy, that is very much deeply ingrained. There's one more thing that we've done, which is microfinance also operates various repayment models. From a payment perspective, there are companies which operate on the monthly repayment. There are companies which operate on the weekly repayment. So Spandana Spurti, when we took over, was a monthly repayment company. Over the past 5 quarters, we've worked hard to ensure that we are going towards the weekly way. Out of the 1,200, 1,300 odd branches, about 200 branches are already weekly, and we have a phase-wise plan to kind of convert the company from a monthly into a weekly for various reasons, which we can. It's a longish answer, but broadly speaking, that is what we are doing. So you will see Spandana muted on ticket sizes, more on customer acquisition, and declining indebtedness level at a customer from a customer point of view.
Right. Thank you so much, Shalabh, for your time. And we wish you all the best for the coming 4 or 5 quarters. Of course, the stock is now available at the IPO price, where it started somewhere in August 2019. So life comes to a full circle. And with the new management at the helm, I'm sure good and better things are there in the offing as far as Spandana Spurti is concerned. More power and more Spurti to you in the coming quarters. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Shail. Thank you, Sakshi. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. We'll come back to the market, Sakshi. And Nifty is rock solid. We've done 45 minutes of trade and 90 points higher at 19,432. Let's look at some of the stocks that we've discussed, and coming to Milleen's picks. Deepak Nitrite. Sakshi, with your permission, I'll mark this as the stock of the day, up at 22.25. Remember, this was something that Milleen had suggested before markets opened, and it's worked out immensely well. It's up about 1.5% in trade so far, and it shows very, very strong traction into what is likely to be a very smart rally developing on the chemical space. Apart from that, let's focus on BHEL. Again, days high, the counter ticking merrily away at 118.75. Breakout in price as also volume. Remember, this is something that you'd seen in April of 2017 as far as BHEL is concerned. And Gujarat Pipavav Port, GPPL, again a breakout trade as suggested by Milleen. Very, very strong moves coming in at 132.10. Sakshi.
Absolutely, Shell, and let's also look at Geo Financial Services also. It's up by 5% in trade today at 231.25. Just when it had hit the street, we had seen 3 days of consecutive lower circuits coming in, but then it started to pick up pace from 202 to 231 rupees now. And you can see a surge of about 8 odd percent in the past few trading sessions again. So that's something that we will continue to watch out for in the markets. And Shell, you rightly pointed out all the stocks that have been discussed by our market experts are firing away, and those are something that we will continue to revisit as we constantly continue to do our market today shows through the trading session. Small cap 100 index at its all-time high levels, 12,141 currently. Suzlon, Cochin Shipyards, Deepak Fertilizers, IRB Infra, Mazdoc. These are the stocks that are buzzing the most in trade, all up by about 4.5, 5 odd percent. We'll continue to watch out for more action on the D Street, and you can do the same by being with us on Business Today TV. So don't forget to subscribe to this channel and also continue to engage with us on our other social media platforms as well. And also a happy Raksha Bandhan once again to all our viewers.
Private cars stand ready. A retinue of family members and staff await. Our camera captures it all. Two individuals accused of monumental financial fraud appearing to bask in privileges that many behind bars can only dream of. Meet Kapil Wadhawan, his brother Dheeraj Wadhawan. Two of the country's most notorious scam artists in criminal records. The former promoters of the Mumbai-based non-banking financial company Dewan Housing Finance Limited, making the most of their incarceration. The Wadhawans witnessed deeply involved in family and business discussions, finding delight in shared food, relishing coffee, employing mobile devices, and even formalizing documents